After getting swept by the Padres, the Brewers turn around and win a 4-game series against the best team in baseball. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my crew. How's it going, boys? Welcome back to the Wisco Boys YouTube channel. I'm your host, Bryce Doomer, and today we will be talking about the Brewers 3-1 series win against the Dodgers. If you liked the video, please feel free to leave a like, comment down below your favorite performance from this 4-game series, and subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos. I want to start off by taking a moment to look at the standings. At the time of this recording, the Brewers are still sitting pretty good in the standings. We are currently leading the NL Central with a 5-game lead over the Cubs. We currently lead the National League overall with a 2.5 game over the Braves, who are in second place, and a 3-game lead over the Dodgers, who are in third place. We also are ahead of the Rays, making the Brewers the best team in baseball record-wise, which is very exciting, right back where they belong. But there's two things I want to highlight here. The first one being that we have regained a 5-game lead over the Cubs. I believe entering into the series against the Dodgers, we had a 3-game lead over the Cubs. And I don't know about you guys, but with how we were playing going into that Dodgers series, I was definitely a little uncomfortable with only 3 games ahead of the Cubs at the time. So to have extended that during the Dodgers series is definitely very encouraging. I know they took a couple losses against some of the teams that they were playing while we were over on the West Coast. So it is encouraging to see that we've bumped that lead up a few games since having started this series. Speaking of the Dodgers, the other thing I wanted to point out is that we hold the tiebreaker against the Dodgers with this win. I know Dodgers club manager, he had made some comments after the game talking about how they really wanted to win that 4th game because that ultimately decided who was going to have this tiebreaker potentially going into the postseason. Maybe it doesn't end up mattering. But if the Brewers and Dodgers end this season with a tie record, that determines home field advantage. So the Brewers in the 7 games against the Dodgers this year, the Brewers have won 4 of them, 1 in the first series and now 3 in the second series, giving them the tiebreaker should that be needed later down the road. Coming up next, we are going to talk about the games themselves. We're going to jump into games 1 through 4, talking about who were the major contributors leading to this series win against the Dodgers. Well, I'll tell you what, this ended up being a great series, but it sure didn't look like it was starting off to be one. Game 1 was looking like the slump was going to continue. Leading up to the 9th inning, the only 2 runs scored up until that point were 2 runs that were walked in by the pitcher. So at that point, I was not feeling very good about this offense. I was watching it with my buddy Cole, and we were not feeling good about this Brewers performance. I also want to highlight quick, I thought that Gasser pitched a pretty good game. I think he had 3 earned runs. I think the bullpen was responsible for the 4th. But overall, I thought Gasser pitched a pretty solid game against this Dodgers offense. So definitely credit where credit is due. But the highlight of this game goes to the Brewers offense because in the 9th, the bats finally started getting hot. We got 4 straight singles from Joey O, David Hamilton, Churio, and then Mitchell. And that was followed up by a go-ahead from Jake Bauers, who ended up getting the score to 5-4. The bullpen came in, did its job, and the Brewers took Game 1 of this series. I felt like Game 1 of the series was very significant. We're coming off a pretty rough stretch of games, especially from the offense. And by no means did this game start off, or was the majority of this game by any means a successful game from the offense. But to have this game end off with as hot of a 9th inning as it did, I felt like it kind of reinvigorated this offense, as we can see moving into games 2 through 4. And finally, might have been what this offense needed, the performance this offense needed to be inspired to start putting up respectable offensive performances. This was a very exciting game to watch and definitely had me feeling pretty good moving to the remainder of the series. Unfortunately, the hot production from the ninth the night before would not roll over into game 2 as the Brewers faced Yamamoto, whom they were only able to bring in 1 run against. They had a chance to come back in this one in the ninth, but unfortunately a ground out from Joey Ortiz ended that inning, meaning that the Brewers lost this one 3-1, which leads us into game 3, where we had a 2-run homer from Joey O in the second inning, and then we had a 2-run homer from Wild Bill in the fourth inning, finally ending his cold streak that he has been on. But I think the star performer in game 3 was easily Jacob Misiorowski. 1 earned run in 6 innings, and he was absolutely electric in this performance. Maybe one of the best games he has played this season. Obviously, not the strikeout numbers we've seen before, but just in the pressure situations, the ability to deliver during this game was so crucial, so essential. There was one point where the bases were loaded and only 1 out with Freddie Freeman and Shohei Ohtani up to bat. That is a pretty rough situation to be in, but even watching that game live, there's almost this sense of trust that I had for Misiorowski on the mound, and for good reason. He went up there and back-to-back strikeouts against 2 very, very hot hitters in this league to end that inning with 0 runs. What a performance from Misiorowski. Even the coach of the Dodgers after the game making some comments about how dominant of a player he truly is. Really a testament to how impactful a guy like the Miz could potentially be should we face this Dodgers team in the postseason. So game 2, a loss 3-1, but the Brewers turn it around in game 3 and end up getting the win 4-1. And that leads us to game 4, where we have a pretty interesting matchup, at least for Brewers fans, where we have Logan Henderson on the mound for the Brewers going up against Tarik Skubal. And obviously, for those of you who were following the trade deadline, we know that Tarik Skubal was somebody the Brewers were very interested in acquiring. But unfortunately, we're unable to get the deal done, resulting in the Dodgers swooping in and making a deal, making this already overpowered Dodgers pitching roster even more OP, which is definitely very unfortunate. But one of the trade pieces that the Brewers had mentioned they were unwilling to move on for this deal was Logan Henderson. And I'm sure there's a lot of Brewers fans after hearing that were probably pretty disappointed. But I don't know. I understand this guy has been playing really, really well. He had gone up until this game, had gone 16 straight starts, only allowing 3 or fewer runs to begin his career. That is pretty dang amazing. And also, it's worth mentioning that the Brewers have 5 years of team control over this guy, and the Brewers wanting to prioritize keeping Henderson, and that ended up working out for them because Henderson outpitched Skubal in this game. I think this was definitely a really eye-opening game for those who maybe aren't as familiar with Henderson on the mound for the Brewers this year. Henderson is the real deal. Henderson is a legit pitcher for this team. I think he, with this performance, really establishing himself as one of the top pitchers in this roster, in this lineup, and definitely somebody that we will need going into the postseason, somebody who's going to be able to contribute to this pitching staff in a very, very meaningful way. 1 earned run in 7 innings pitched for Logan Henderson. What a game from him. Like I said, he's going to be so valuable to this pitching staff in the postseason. But also, we have to talk about the offense in this game. Not only did we have an amazing pitching performance from Logan Henderson, but this Brewers offense was on fire with 11 hits. Bowers and Churio, the 2 guys I want to point out, Bowers going 4 for 4 and Churio going 3 for 3. This was an offensive performance with 0 home runs, but they ended up scoring 6 runs. This is Brewers baseball. Getting guys on base, advancing those runners, base hit, base hit, base hit. This offense was relentless against a struggling Tariq Skubal. Skubal now 0-3 with the Dodgers. Obviously, I don't want to talk trash on Skubal. I don't want to say, oh, I'm glad we didn't get him. He's still obviously a very, very talented pitcher. And could we have had the opportunity to get him without sacrificing too much, I would have still loved to have seen him come to this roster. But what an encouraging performance for the Brewers to put up against a pitcher like Tariq Skubal. Like I said, I think 4 of those runs being against Skubal, I just want to clarify, I believe 2 of them against the bullpen. But yeah, the offense with 6 runs, no homers, and that's including a very injured infield right now. We do not have Cooper Pratt at the shortstop position, and we do not have Bryce Trang at the second base position. So this is a hot offense, and we're still missing what I think are 2 key bats in this lineup. So Brewers win 6-2. Very, very good performance all around. And I think the perfect way to end this series against the Dodgers. Came in, punch them in the mouth, and come out feeling really dang good about how this Brewers team is performing on both the pitching side and the hitting side. I think it's safe to say that the Brewers are trending towards getting out of the slump that they were finding themselves in. I also just want to make a quick rant because earlier I was on social media and I saw that the MLB had posted their power rankings. And this is on Monday. So the Dodgers series ending on Sunday. The Brewers are ranked number 2 in the power rankings behind the Dodgers after coming off of a series win against them in a pretty dominant fashion. I mean, a 6-2 win with a solid pitching performance, a solid offensive performance, a 4-1 win, a solid offensive and pitching performance. A loss in game 2, but an amazing comeback in game 1. I don't understand. I know it's just the favoritism for this league, for the Dodgers is so frustrating. It just feels like the Brewers, the small market team nobody cares about. I mean, good. If we won the World Series, maybe they'd put us above them. I know we've been ranked number 1 in the power rankings, but I just felt like it was kind of a slap in the face for the Brewers coming off of a 3-1 win in a 4-game series. They get put below that team. I don't know. I mean, having gone 4 of 7 against them this year. I don't know. Whatever. I guess it just makes it more sweet when we hopefully continue to prove them wrong moving forward. But I just wanted to quickly rant about that. Looking at the schedule, we play the Mariners up next, followed by the Braves. I thought we played the Cubs after the Mariners, but I guess I was wrong about that one. I think I just keep hearing these Cubs fans talking about how, we're going to close the gap and we're going to pass you when we play you in the upcoming series. I guess I just thought that series was coming up quickly. I think there's like 4 series between now and the 4-game we have coming up against the Cubs. But anyways, that'll be all on this edition of the Wisco Boys YouTube channel. Thank you all for watching. If you liked the video, feel free to like, subscribe, and comment down below. I'll be responding to all the comments. Your engagement with the content is very, very much appreciated. But that's all I have. I'll see you all in the next one.